Do not pick up snakes. That's something you have to tell me. Alright, so after walking around for a bit, this is kind of where I've come to. I couldn't get into this. Let me show you this. It's like really low area. There's a nice little creek that's got some really beautiful, really deep, dark banks down in there. Just too soggy. I mean, I almost sunk up to the top of my boots, so I can't do that. But I really like this this tree that's just being illuminated. That it's been protected enough all winter that it's just hanging onto those leaves. There's a nice shagbark tree right here in the foreground, and not that it will necessarily play into my painting, but I will. You know, somebody mentioned the other day that I say a lot, and I never thought about that before. But when I watched the last video back, you're absolutely right. I say that a lot. So that and anyway seems to consume a lot of my verbiage. So, but that doesn't matter. If I think about it, I'll try not to say that as much and not think too long and just keep moving. So anyway, thanks for the tip and for reminding me that pauses are welcome, and I appreciate that. Okay, so before I forget, my daughter Alexa got engaged today, so I just wanted to say congratulations to her and Matt. And so today is February the 18th, 2017. All right, let's get going. All right, so what's going to make this one successful really is there's a lot of natural gray kind of in and around this tree, so keeping the background like really neutral gray tones with just a little bit of warmth in it, and then getting a little cooler here in the foreground, actually, especially with these two trees that sort of block and bracket this this whole scene. I've got this I want that tree to sit kind of right in here, and so on this side we've got this one tree in the foreground here that kind of comes up and around, and then this one branches off this way, and they kind of connect right in here. So just creates it's going to actually make a little window, and then on the other side here we're going to get a little bit of this tree over here. It's actually going to sit down a little bit lower, and it's going to go off this way, and this is kind of that shag bark that's here in the foreground. So, and then since it goes uphill, we've got the hill cutting across these about like this. A little rounded at the top, just kind of drops down into here. And then there's some trees that sit in here a little bit. One kind of leans back in toward the middle, and then there's one kind of right over here that kind of goes this way, connects with that one. And then I'm holding up my brush just so I can see. It gives me a relationship to where these actually sit. So this one's a little higher up on the hill back here, kind of goes this way. And there's some other smaller ones that come in there. But definitely these two characters, they're going to make a nice backdrop for this. And then there's kind of a tree line that runs through here. It's got some sky holes in it and stuff, but it sort of runs like this. So I'm just going to kind of indicate that, and that's where that's going to have to be like really kind of a warm gray. So I'm going to get some cobalt blue, and I'm going to take some vermilion, and I'm going to get like a warm gray color, put a little bit of white in that, and I'm just going to lay that in back here. It's really terpsy, no problem. Especially it's a little bit breezy right now, so this terpsy stuff's going to dry pretty rapidly. And this is just getting that relationship in there. And we have, now this time I'm going to take some cadmium orange, and I'm going to actually mix some ultramarine blue in that. Actually, these two colors are so strong that, and I'm going to take a little bit of cobalt violet with that as well. And see what we got here. A little more ultramarine. And then we're just going to lay that kind of down in here. Just making big strokes here. Not trying to really define anything yet. Just kind of want to lay this in here just to establish this hill. And just to remind me later that this hill actually gets a little bit of light on it, right on the top there. And then we've got all this light coming through. We'll brighten those up in a second. Get some more blue in here. Not enough. Normally that's too strong, so. You may be able to only see glare, so I'm going to fix that. Hopefully. There we go. That should help. Go back to cobalt. This time I'm going to put a little orange in that, and I'm going to add just a hint of well, that was kind of dry, so there we go. That gives us a really nice gray in here, because these trees in the background are just really kind of ghosted in here. But they still need to contribute to this this background for the tree, because it really has to pop off of there. Grays in there. Alright, so let's have a few coming up here. Kind of a light side to those, a little bit more ghosty. that got a little bit too white there, so I'm just going to knock that back some. All right. All right, so we're going to just kind of knock some of this back in the background. Still got like this all right. Alright, so let's get some of this off of here. Alright. This back in here is just almost a pure, has an appearance of just like almost pure cobalt. So I'm just going to kind of lay some of this in here. And I know it has a extremely high risk of being muddy because of the colors underneath, but I'll just have to keep wiping this off. And maybe we'll just add a little bit of ultramarine for up in here. It's really chalky looking there, but I'll fix that in a second. Okay. Get too fussy. Now I'm just going to test this color kind of against that background, and it's very much kind of a cad orange. And I'm just going to take pure cad orange, and I'm going to take that as to the lightest value. And it's that, except it's a little bit warmer, so I'm going to take a little bit of Indian yellow and put in there, and that warmed it right up. And this is just a test. This one branch kind of runs right through here, and there's a couple other spots here. I think and really all I want to see here is I want to see the relationship of this to everything that's around it compared to what I'm seeing here. And if I take maybe just a touch of lemon yellow and even warm that up just a bit more, maybe around the edges here, it's going to probably work out just about right. So, and it gets a little darker as it gets up there, but the basic shape of this tree, just kind of laying it down. These branches kind of come off like that, about there. Alright, so I think that's going to work out pretty good. All right. So for this kind of this shagbark in front of me right here, I'm just going to take some Viridian. First I'm going to get like a greenish color, so I'm going to take some Viridian, and I'm going to take a little cat orange. I'm going to mix those two together. And I'm just going to test that and see what that light value is. And it's makes a nice warm gray, and it needs going to add just a touch of blue to that, and just a little Indian yellow, and we'll try to lighten that and see what we have. Maybe just a touch more Viridian. Just a little more Viridian in there. Okay. So I'm going to just kind of lay this one in here. It gets quite a bit darker toward the bottom, so comes kind of up and back over. And I'm running it off here at an angle, which it's not actually doing in reality, but I wanted to open up this area, so, and that's as low as I want to go on the board here, so I'm going to stop there. And then I'm going to take a touch more Viridian. I'm going to lighten this up a little bit, just to get the relationship of the sunny side of it. Except when we get up here, it's gonna get, we're gonna have a shift there where we're actually going to get darker as we get up in here. So it's a counter change. And we'll deal with the shagginess of this in just a second. Just kind of blocking it in at the moment. And these are really the main characters in this whole thing. And then this green, as you get toward the bottom here, this gets quite green down in here, so right around the base. Alright, that's good for now. Now we'll move over here and get this one. This one's much darker, so I'm going to start out with some ultramarine, and I'm going to mix some cad orange with that. And that's going to give me a really dark, little more with that. Really nice dark gray. And this one is up just a bit from here, so this tree has a little bit different character. It's kind of framing this out, taken off this way. We got the light side of this one. This actually comes across here. A bit of this lighter gray in here. And this is really dark right in here. Backside where this tree comes out of there. It's kind of laying against it right in there. And then it's going to be dark in here. Again, it's a kind of a counter change here. We've got light against, we got going dark against this light of this tree. And obviously this tree it's almost in complete silhouette right now when I look at it. Alright, and there's some light. Just going to go ahead and lay in some of this light that's coming through here on the ground. Kind of goes in behind these two. Light kind of helps tell this this story of the contour of this hill. So, but there's all these kind of orange, very light orange coming through there, with this blue in between. But I don't want it to compete with that, so I've got to keep it more subdued than that. So I'm just going to pick up some of this gray here, knock that down some. kind of a ray coming right across there. This gives this some nice motion here. This whole thing has just got lots of movement right now, so I've got to work hard not to destroy any of that. Okay, so I got a pretty good start here, so I'm going to take a second and I think I just need to just paint for a couple minutes because I'm having a little trouble concentrating. I haven't done a lot of talking and painting, as you all know. I usually just fast forward through that. But I wanted to give it a shot and just try and give you a little more about kind of what I'm thinking as I'm painting. I have no idea what's coming out of my head right now, so I guess I'll hear it back later because I'm trying to paint and talk at the same time, and that's a little bit of a left brain, right brain activity, so who knows what kind of crazy collision we got going on inside my brain. But I'm going to just paint for a few minutes, and I'll be able to just kind of fast forward through this because I'm at a point where I just need to concentrate a little bit, and then as soon as I'm done, I will explain what it is that I did. So I will be back with you, at least audibly, in a couple minutes. All right, cool. Okay, so now I'm going in the background here, and I'm just kind of looking off in the distance. There are some sky holes in here that just kind of peek through in different places, kind of in between some trees. So I'm going to kind of keep some of these strokes kind of vertical, which just kind of shows that, you know, they're looking through, catching the edge between trees, and then when I get toward the top, I just kind of like to work a little of the blue into the gray and a little bit of the gray into the blue, just to diffuse this edge. So I bring a little of the blue in, and then I actually bring a little of the gray back out. So a little blue in and then a little gray out. And that'll just kind of diffuse these edges, send them back in the distance a little further. Yeah, we'll just lay some blue in here. That got really muddy right there, so I'm going to have to kind of leave that alone for now, and kind of, there's a lot of paint right there, so I have to work back over that later on after this paint settles in a little bit, but I'll go ahead and just get the effect in here anyway. So a little blue in, a little gray out. So that's really all I'm after, just to diffuse that. Set it back. Okay, so now none of these trees in here really have much of an edge on them anymore because the light's completely changed on me. So I'm just going to make a really kind of a yellowish gray right here, because this tree here, you can see the lights moving around now because I may have to switch and see if I can't rotate just a little bit. There we go. All right, so just this one edge of this tree, right along this edge here, is just really catching some light right now that I'd kind of like to put in here. Just looks really nice. And we want that counter change to happen up there, so I'm not going to get too crazy about that. And this edge that I've already got right here, I'm just going to kind of leave that alone. That was a little bit of this kind of greenish color. Right there. Again, these trees here in the foreground, they're just supporting what I've got going on back here. Not really that important as far as having a tremendous amount of detail, but I do want a nice dark edge on this one, so I'm going to darken that one up a little bit more. And then the dark counter changes up here as this comes around. So and it's got just a touch of light right there. All right, that's plenty there. Now to go back to the shape of this, so I'm going to take my vermilion again, And the first thing I'm going to do is lighten it. And then I'm going to take my cad orange, and I'm going to go back to, that's not quite warm enough, so I'm going to get a little bit of Indian yellow in there. And then I'm going to lighten it again. I know you really can't see what I got going on here, but I think you'll probably see it when I place it on here. So, got like just kind of the tops of these edges right here, just kind of catching the light. And then I may even go one shade lighter here in a second. Take a little more Indian yellow, and then on this kind of sunlit side over here, just going to drop this down in here, and have to be a little bit careful that I don't get a crazy tangent here, so I'm actually going to stop this a little bit shy of that on the upper branches, and then I'll let it kind of overlap. Or stay clear of it on the lower ones. So and I'm just trying to see the basic outline here of this tree. Kind of squinting my eyes and then I'm gonna blue some of this up by just grabbing some of my blue mix that I have down here, and there's just a hint of some of these catching some light off in the distance here, so I'm just going to add a little bit in here. A little more blue in that maybe. So what I did is I took the same color basically, and I just changed the temperature of it a little bit by just putting some of my sky color in it, and that'll help push this off into the distance. And then just a little texture with a little color there, just in a few spots, kind of in between these trees back here. And we'll just kind of hit those with my finger, just kind of kill those a little bit in detail wise. Just don't really want any strong brush strokes back there because don't want to draw too much attention, just enough. Alright, so that tree, I really like the way the orange color kind of plays off of the blue background. Nice cross complements there. I'm going to go just one shade lighter, and I'm just going to catch the underside maybe of this one, maybe the top side of this one a little bit. And again, I'm just where the light is able to get past a couple of these trees here. Just want to let this focal point kind of be the focal point. So, all right, I'm in danger of overworking that, so I'm gonna walk away. All right, so I'm gonna add in the kind of the trunk and the branches, so I'll put the number 6 down there. I'll grab the number 2. And it's kind of that same grayish green. And it's a nice little sapling, so all right, I'll get that color here in a second. Get a little bit of orange in that, a little red maybe. Woof. All right, a little vermilion. There we go. That's a little better. So when we get up in here, it's going to be quite a bit darker, so and I don't need a lot of branches here to tell this story, so and if it gets too dark, I just hit it with my too much detail. I just hit it with my finger. That kind of kills it. So, and then we'll have a little dark side right here, just where it comes down into the ground here. And then a light side right there. Just get a little counter change right there. That's too big, so I'm gonna have to go back in here behind it. And then I gotta come back in here. Now I'm just getting some a little bit underside here, a little bit darker color. And I just barely touched kind of my rose madder and just grabbed just a little bit of dark for this underside, so maybe just a touch of light out here. Alright, so I told myself I was going to leave that part alone, so I'm going to better do that. Alright. I'll just hit just a couple more. Can't really see these branches per se. Just indicate them. So this has gotten out of hand here. I've got to get back in here. All right, so I think I've just got just a couple more things to do here. Kind of looking at this overall, there is a branch up here that I could put in, but I think maybe I'll just go back here and just maybe indicate a couple of small branches coming off of these, and they just really only have to be, they don't have to be anything significant at all, just maybe a little dark under there, and then just coming off. It just helps break up all of these verticals because there's so many verticals, and this happens to me a lot when I'm painting really close up in the forest, where a tree will sort of branch out, but I'll just hit that a little bit right there. Just grab a little gray here. And then there are just a couple of these down here in the light. They're just catching a little bit of light down here. A couple of these little bushes. Not too many. Adds a nice texture kind of to the whole thing here. So got to make sure this top edge here too just has a nice roll to it. So Okay, so I'm losing light really fast, so I'm gonna stop here, and there are some sections of this anyway that actually need to dry a little bit before I can continue to work on them, especially some of the blue up next to those really dark gray trees. It can get a little muddy if you overwork that area, so this paint will settle in a couple days and I'll be able to touch this up, and it'll actually be pretty cool. So anyway, as always, thanks for checking out my video. Don't forget to subscribe and share it if you like it, and I will catch you later.